We engage in a peculiar ritual, spending our existence attempting to mend ourselves as if inherently flawed, perpetually buffing the facade we present to the world. Yet, observe the monumental figures throughout history, those who truly reshaped reality and lived authentically. A curious pattern emerges. They were all fractured, each bearing some form of imperfection. Their eminence wasn't achieved in spite of their brokenness, but precisely because of it. This notion runs counter to everything we've been conditioned to believe, doesn't it? We are urged to conceal our hurts, to disguise our scars, and to feign completeness. But what if I were to suggest that your very brokenness, the very thing you find most mortifying, is precisely what the cosmos requires of you? What if the fissure in your character is not a defect, but a defining characteristic? Allow me to clarify from the outset. When I speak of being damaged, I do not refer to someone who is reckless, irresponsible, or who exploits their suffering as justification. No, I speak of the individual who has traversed to the precipice, who has peered into the abyss of their own spirit and returned, trembling. I refer to the person who profoundly understands their own lack of self-sufficiency, their inability to navigate existence unaided. These are the individuals the universe selects, not for their weakness, but for their awareness. The universe has no utility for the self-made individual, the one who preens with the belief they elevated themselves through sheer willpower, attributing their triumphs solely to their own efforts. Such a person is a closed system, devoid of space for anything grander to manifest through them, entirely consumed by their own self-importance. Conversely, the damaged soul, the one bearing fractures, possesses openings through which illumination can penetrate. Consider water for a moment. A perfectly sealed vessel cannot admit water. However, a single crack, the slightest breach, allows water to permeate, to seep in and occupy the space. This is the mechanism of grace, the very operation of existence itself. It cannot infiltrate where there is no entry point, and it is damage that creates these essential openings. Now, I wish for you to grasp a crucial distinction. To be damaged is not synonymous with being obliterated. A cracked chalice can still contain liquid. A chipped pane of glass can still admit sunlight. In fact, sometimes that chip can produce the most exquisite patterns when illuminated by the sun at a precise angle. Your own damage functions similarly. It does not disqualify you from being instrumental in life's tapestry. Rather, it qualifies you. Reflect upon the great spiritual luminaries across history. Moses, it is said, possessed a speech impediment, struggling to articulate. Yet, he was chosen to be the divine conduit for his people. How improbable is that? The cosmos selects a man with impaired speech to convey the most pivotal message in recorded time. Why? Because Moses recognized his own limitations. He understood his dependence on assistance. He knew his inadequacy. And in that profound self-awareness, he became an ideal instrument. Or take David, a humble shepherd boy overlooked by his own kin, deemed too young, too feeble, too inconsequential. Yet, it was precisely this David, perceived as flawed merchandise by society, who ascended to become the illustrious monarch. For David never forgot his origins. He never relinquished his sense of insignificance. Even while adorned with a crown, he remembered being merely a shepherd boy whom the universe had uplifted and utilized. The pattern is ubiquitous once you begin to perceive it. Paul, the esteemed apostle, was once a persecutor. He hunted and eliminated the very individuals whose cause he would later champion. Can you fathom the weight of such a past? The knowledge that you once extinguished the lives of those you now advocate for. Yet, it was this very guilt, this acute consciousness of his own capacity for malevolence, that rendered him such a potent educator. He understood his salvation stemmed not from his own righteousness, but from something far beyond his personal agency. Herein lies the transformation that occurs when one is damaged. the relinquishment of the illusion of control. You acknowledge that you are not the orchestrator. The majority of individuals navigate life under the pretense of being in command, believing that through sufficient effort, meticulous planning, and inherent goodness, all will unfold favorably. However, the damaged soul possesses a deeper understanding. They have witnessed the swift disintegration of all things. They have felt the earth crumble beneath their feet, and in that terrifying descent, they acquire a wisdom unattainable by the unscarred. They learn to trust the force that catches them. This is precisely why the universe favors the damaged. They have mastered the art of surrender. They have learned to yield to life's currents rather than clinging to them with unyielding desperation. Have you ever attempted to float in water? If you tense up, striving to dictate every motion, you sink. But if you relax, placing faith in the water, it supports you. Life mirrors this precisely. The damaged individual has learned to float. Now, let me elucidate the true nature of damage. It is not the external event, the addiction, the abuse, the failure, the loss. These are mere occurrences. Damage is the internal metamorphosis. It is the moment you finally concede that those experiences have irrevocably altered you, that you are no longer the person you once were, that a return to your former self is impossible. This acknowledgement, this recognition of profound change, is the very fissure through which light enters. When confronted with adversity, most individuals expend all their energy attempting to revert to normalcy, yearning to reclaim their past identity. But the damaged individual comprehends the impossibility of regression. The prior self has ceased to exist, and within the void left by that former self, something novel can germinate, something that was unattainable previously. This is not mere recovery, it is transformation. And it is transformation that the universe ultimately seeks. It is quite remarkable, is it not, that those who have never experienced breakdown often find life exceedingly challenging. They are brittle. When confronted with hardship, they shatter, having never learned the art of yielding. However, the individual who has already been broken, who has already been contorted from their original form, possesses a unique resilience. They can adapt to life's vicissitudes rather than resisting them. They resemble ancient timber that has weathered countless tempests, strong not due to rigidity, but because it knows how to sway. I wish to convey what transpires when you embrace your damage. You cultivate humility. You realize you are not the central figure of the narrative, nor even its architect. You are merely one small component within an immense production. This realization, far from being disheartening, is profoundly liberating. Because when you surrender the illusion of control, you cease the exhausting endeavor of managing every outcome. You can simply fulfill your role and allow the remainder to unfold organically. This aligns with the ancient Chinese concept of Wu Wei, effortless action. Not inaction, but action without strain, work without coercion. And this state is achievable only when one is humbled by their own inherent limitations. The proud individual, the one who believes they have mastered all aspects of life, is in perpetual conflict, contending with circumstances, with fellow beings, and with existence itself. They exist in a constant state of opposition, and opposition is profoundly draining. The damaged individual has learned the futility of resistance. This is not a sentiment of defeatism, but rather a profound acceptance. They have discovered how to collaborate with life's flow rather than opposing it. Furthermore, a significant consequence of damage is the cultivation of genuine empathy. Not the superficial pity that condescends to others, but the profound recognition of oneself in every encountered soul, born from the understanding of struggle, failure, and reaching one's nadir. You comprehend the sensation of requiring assistance. This comprehension fosters a gentleness towards others that the unblemished can never attain. Those who have never truly suffered often exhibit judgment towards those who do, questioning why they do not simply pull themselves together or try harder. The damaged individual, however, understands the complexity of such situations. They recognize that sometimes striving harder is precisely the incorrect approach. Occasionally, one must cease striving and simply surrender. This insight, forged through personal experience, empowers them to assist others in ways inaccessible to the unburdened. I must address what damage is not. It is not a justification for surrender, for wallowing in self-pity, or for mistreating others. If your damage has engendered bitterness, resentment, or cruelty, then you have missed the essential lesson. You have transmuted your pain into poison, directed either inward or outward, rather than allowing it to dismantle your defenses. The fundamental divergence between the individual whom the universe can utilize and the one it cannot lies here. One looks upon their damage and laments, "Why me? This is unjust. I am cursed." The other gazes at their damage and inquires, "What is this seeking to impart? How is this deepening my humanity? What knowledge am I meant to glean from this?" Both are afflicted, yet only one is progressing towards wisdom. There is a narrative I cherish concerning an individual who sought counsel from a sage. "Master," they declared, "I am burdened by numerous challenges. I am plagued by anxiety, by despondency, by addictive tendencies, and I have faltered in every endeavor. How can I possibly be of any worth?" The sage responded, "You have just enumerated your qualifications." The individual was perplexed. The sage elaborated, "Your anxiety has illuminated the inherent uncertainty of existence. Your depression has revealed that joy cannot be coerced. Your addictions have demonstrated your need for support. Your failures have instilled humility. These are not disqualifications. They are your credentials. This is the essence of my assertion that the universe selects damaged individuals. It is not that the cosmos actively seeks out the broken and declares, 'Ah, let me employ them.' Rather, brokenness creates the necessary conditions for a greater force to manifest through you. It is akin to a seed requiring rupture before it can blossom into a plant. The seed that remains intact, perfectly sealed, embodying its purest seed state, will never mature. And what emerges from that breach is not the old self meticulously restored, but something entirely novel, something that lay dormant within, incapable of egress due to the impenetrable shell. With the shell now fractured, it can finally emerge. Based on my observations, those who have profoundly impacted the world were never those who faced an easy path. They were the individuals who wrestled, who stumbled, who fell repeatedly, losing count of their resurrections. Why? Because struggle imparts lessons that comfort cannot. It teaches you your latent strength, your capacity to endure what you believed would be your undoing, and the presence of an inner force, or a force working through you, that transcends your circumstances. And here lies the exquisite truth. Once this lesson is deeply ingrained, etched into your very being, you become fearless, not in the absence of apprehension, but in the understanding that fear is a transient emotion. You recognize that even in the face of direst outcomes, you will persevere, having already navigated or come close to enduring the worst, and you remain. This is the profound secret of the damaged: freedom to embrace risks, freedom to speak truth, freedom to love unconditionally, for they understand that withholding oneself offers no genuine protection. Consider this for a moment. Whom would you prefer to learn from? Someone who has never faltered, who has achieved success in every undertaking, who has known no true hardship, or someone who has faced utter ruin, who has experienced despair, who has painstakingly clawed their way back from the brink? The former can discourse on success, but the latter can illuminate the essence of life. The universe favors the damaged because they possess a wisdom inaccessible to the unscarred. They have been refined by tribulation, their superfluous elements incinerated. What remains is fundamental, authentic, genuine. And this is precisely what the universe requires. Not individuals who are perfect, but those who are real. Now, the matter intensifies. When you accept your damage, when you cease attempting to conceal it, rectify it, or deny its existence, a remarkable phenomenon occurs. Others perceive it and recognize themselves within you. Your damage becomes a conduit, a bridge enabling others to transition from their isolation into connection. For every individual carries some form of damage, some wounds they endeavor to keep hidden, but by ceasing your own concealment, you grant others implicit permission to do likewise. This is the path to healing, not through feigning wholeness, but by acknowledging brokenness, not by projecting an image of flawlessness, but by revealing your scars, your willingness to be vulnerable, to be seen in your imperfection. This act empowers others to embrace their own vulnerability. And in this shared vulnerability, something beautiful unfolds. Connection. Genuine, profound human connection. The universe does not select damaged individuals to perform its work in spite of their imperfections. It chooses them precisely because of them. For damage engenders humility. Humility cultivates openness. Openness creates space. And within that space, something greater can operate. You may call it God, the cosmos, or the vital force of existence itself. Whatever designation you employ, it necessitates room to function. And it is damage that creates this essential space. Therefore, if you find yourself contemplating, "I am too shattered to be of any service. My damage renders me insignificant. I have committed too many errors," allow me to assure you, you are precisely the individual the universe is seeking. Your brokenness is not a malfunction. It is a feature. Your damage is not a disqualifier. It is your qualification. Your wounds are not sources of shame, but rather insignia of honor, proclaiming, "I have lived, I have suffered, I have learned, and I persist." The universe does not require more flawless beings. It yearns for more authentic ones. It does not need individuals who have everything under control, but rather those willing to disintegrate and be reassembled anew. It does not seek those projecting strength, but rather those acknowledging their weakness and permitting a greater power to flow through them. This is the profound paradox. Strength finds its ultimate perfection in weakness, not in its absence, but within it, through it, and by its very means. The very attribute you perceive as disqualifying is, in fact, your qualification. The very wound you endeavor to conceal serves as the portal through which light may enter. The very damage of which you are ashamed is the fissure through which grace streams. Therefore, cease your attempts at self-perfection. Halt your efforts to present an immaculate facade. Abandon the pretense of complete control. Instead, be candid about your damage. Acknowledge your shattered state. Confess your need for assistance. And in that moment of unvarnished vulnerability, you will uncover something astounding. You are not alone. You have never been solitary. And the very damage you believed rendered you unusable is precisely what makes you perfectly suited for the task the universe assigns you. The most effective vessels are those that have been fractured and subsequently mended. They understand their role as mere receptacles, not the essence contained within. They allow light to traverse them because they are replete with fissures. And that light, that power, that grace shines all the more brilliantly because of those cracks. Thus, embrace your damage, your brokenness, your fractured state, and within your imperfection, allow yourself to be utilized, for that is your purpose, not to be flawless, but to be authentic, not to possess all the answers, but to be honest about the questions, not to be the source of light, but to be the conduit through which light radiates. And your damage, your beautiful, profound, precious damage, is what renders this all possible.